and he doesn't just open Chromium.
Oh no, he's typing back to you now, Joe. So here's the.
Sorry, kids.
You can always kill them.
Well, I mean, that's the problem with kids, isn't it? You can't really return them back to sender, can you?
You can. You just end up in
Depends who
jail
you think
for it.
gave it.
Yeah, I'm probably about 18 years too late, though, with most of them.
You're outside the return window?
Yeah.
Not according to Chris Rock.
Yeah, well.
That's a reference I don't get, but okay. I'm gonna.
Oh no, it's not good. Believe me, you're happy you're not getting it.
Yeah, it's dark comedy, if you will. Dark, inappropriate comedy, I guess, if you will.
So basically, normal. Business as usual for mintCast.
Oh, dude. Business is normal for politics in America.
Oh my God. What's this thing now that he wants to block the Strait of Hormuz?
He doesn't want to block the Strait of Hormuz. He wants other. He sees that Iran is making money doing it, so of course he wants to also make money doing it because he wants it to be his idea and
we are
his
streaming,
money.
by the way. So,
I'm sorry. Let's stop talking about politics.
Yeah, we better stop.
Why is my headset suddenly going crazy?
Somebody's hacking into you. Heard your comments.
Yeah, the thought police are on the way.
Yeah.
It's normal for politics in America currently. Was the entirety of that statement. I'm gonna go grab another headset, guys. This one's jank.
Okay. We appear to have plenty of time.
What's happening with Jim?
He's using the room that was made yesterday when we were, and he doesn't seem to grasp the concept.
Have you seen a video? This will entertain you. Have you seen the video too? It's basically fuck cancer. Have you seen this one about? I'll paste it for you. It's a good song you can sing along to. But I'll paste it later. But maybe not when the kids are around. Right. So.
Whose turn is it to host?
That was me.
No. Because I think it's either Bill or Joe, isn't it?
It might be me. I used to rely on Moss for these things,
Yeah. Well, actually, having said that, it'll probably be in the next cloud, won't it?
It would, but
I'll have a look.
You need to delegate. Just send me stuff.
There's a spreadsheet. There's a spreadsheet in there that keeps track of that, and then it might be the same spreadsheet is keeping track of how many episodes we're all on, and I always assumed that it was either Moss or Londoner.
483. Which one are we on? This is 484, isn't it? Or is this 483?
No, this is 483.
Okay, so this is 483. Okay, so let me just go back. So I hosted 482 apparently. Eric did 481. Joe did 480. So I think it's you, Bill.
All right, I'm on it.
Or Jim, if Jim, I suppose Jim could also as well.
I feel like Jim's not going to be in the mood. if he ever figures out how to paste a URL into a browser.
You see, I just have a really bad feeling that that comment is going to come and bite you back in the ass.
I know what he did. He created a web app with the room we were using yesterday, and then he expected that to work today. And it's a completely different room. I made a redirect and everything. That way, if I need to make changes to the URL string, I can do that. And then no matter what I do, as long as you guys go to mintcast.org/VDO, it'll go to the right room. But that's not what he did. He made a web app with the room that we were in yesterday, which was just for testing.
Charlie, what's your surname?
Moss.
Really?
You heard that right?
Yes.
You heard that right.
Okay. No, I'm just saying because I'm just adding you onto the spreadsheet since you are now since you are now an official host.
So
I've got the email, so I'm definitely in. Yeah, I guess I'm in the door.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm just.
Let's say something tonight.
No.
So we have 2 Mosses and 2 variations of Charleses. Is that what's happening?
Yeah. You'll be Charles and he'll be Charlie.
And yeah.
Everybody will be Chuck.
Chuck.
Or Chaz.
Chuck and Chucky.
It's the name of a chicken in Australia, so that's no good, is it?
Someone got the radio on.
The hockey game's on.
Hockey. It's the hockey.
Oh, okay.
The hockey game is on. You'll have to excuse my lack of professionalism, and you'll have to excuse it even more once the screaming starts.
Now, how do you mute on this thing? Is there a button to mute? I mean, is there a short?
You set up a hotkey.
Oh, you have to. Okay, and I'm not done that. So
you can just press that Control M, innit?
At the bottom of the screen.
Oh, yeah, it's Control M. You're right. Yeah, on this.
No, it's Control Super
Command
M.
No, you're right. Control M for.
It's Control M.
It comes up when you move your mic over it.
Yeah, it's either Control or Command if you've got a Mac.
It's Control Super M.
All right.
No,
or Control and Super M.
No, it's Control.
Jim is saying that his camera's not working. And it's not my headset that's the issue. It's my USB ports. I love today. It's awesome.
It's his £4,000 camera, you know.
Right.
Keep reminding him. I wish I could get mine working. This is really good. You see, it sits in the middle of the screen, so you can still look at the screen.
So you're not like off to one side type of thing.
Yeah, you can look into the eyes of the person, but and it's got 2 cameras.
You stare into the abyss of your soul.
But unfortunately, some. I'll plug it in now and something will blow up. Right. There we go. Is there another camera?
If he can get into the room with no camera, I can fix that with the...
Oops. No. It doesn't recognise it, but it recognised it last week. Why is it giving me grief now?
Are you saying that you're having a problem with your flawless Linux setup? I'm shocked. I am shocked.
It worked perfectly yesterday. I was so positive about it.
Well, let's see here. Hang on a second. Blackmagic Design, Bison Cam, request.
Yeah, you're trying to change it to Bison Cam, so that's not the one you want.
Okay, Blackmagic Design.
Yeah. There we go. Please ensure your camera supports the resolution and frame rate that has been manually specified. Please use ampersand quality equals 0 instead.
Nee. Het is niet mogelijk. Anyway, I have to do. I've gone back to being tomato again.
Same error message. Camera failed to load.
Even if you added that to the string, that wouldn't. Try to go to your video settings to select a camera.
Mm-hmm. I've got the 3 choices. Blackmagic design. All right, I'm going to click OK again because you just did something. Same error. So yeah, there's 3 sources: Blackmagic, Bison Cam, which is the old built-in webcam, and then there's something called Screen Share, and then there's Disable Video. Those are the 4 choices.
Go back out and come back in with Firefox. I don't know what's going on here.
All right.
I saw that same error yesterday, but then when I go and manually enable the camera, it starts working.
Ah, that's better. Retro.
Oh, that looks good, actually.
No, bad hair.
See if I can clean up Charles's picture a little bit here. Contrast. Ooh.
So. I wonder why this thing is. The light's on it. I'm so upset about this. This is really. Maybe I can bring this a bit more over.
Getting dizzy, Charles? I can do all kinds of shit. Or, excuse me, stuff. Don't at me.
Did you like my cartoons?
Yeah.
It's incredible. It really is. I mean, this is a free. I mean, I use sort of like what's it called now? Merlin. So I mean, I paid something in advance. I got one of these lifetime deals, but it's just on the basic Google payment, one credit per shot instead of 60, and it comes out with art like that. It's incredible. And I didn't put your face into it. I just described you.
Is that Firefox? Oh, no sound.
Yeah, it's Firefox. I have 150 tabs open in Firefox. I don't want to use Firefox. I tried to use Waterfox, but that's kind of old and dated app image, and it crashed every time I tried to change the camera. I think I tried Chromium, the browser, but I think inextricably linked with the web app that I created yesterday, which for some stupid reason only acknowledges the settings from yesterday. You can't. In other words, if I wanted to join Joe Blow's podcast as a guest today on the web app, it won't let me do it. I'm locked into one room. I don't get it. Why?
Well, because the room name is in the URL that you made that web app with.
And
you just have to make
so you
another
have to
one.
have it. Okay, so with the web app, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. That means the web app only allows you to join one room.
Yeah, that web app. Now, if you that's why I use the Mint tool to make the web apps, because then you can specify the whole URL and use separate profiles for every single one.
I see.
So,
yeah, I thought I was being clever making a web app yesterday.
No, that's what I did too. I've got a bunch of web apps for this too, but I use the Mint tool instead of the built-in, because if you use the built-in one, it's kind of hard to make multiple web apps, because it's all going off the single Chromium profile. It's pulling the cookies that you've already created,
I see. Okay. How do I delete? And I won't do it right now, but how do I delete the web app?
What I do is go into the web app and then do Control-N to open up a new window within that profile, and then go to the settings, and in there, or in the somewhere in the, if it's not the settings, it's the additional controls or something like that. Let me see. Control. So you go to the three buttons.
I gotta figure something out.
More tools, I think, is what it is, and there's a thing in there to get rid of it. Anyway, let me get 20 seconds microphone open.
I've got to back out. I mean, this is going to be like, I'm going to drag the whole show down like this. I can't work this browser has 150 tabs open. I'm hearing static on your voice, and it's going to drag everything down. I've got to.
Well,
I got to. Let's see. I tried Chromium, and it's linked to the web app. WaterFox. Yeah. Maybe I can get a new version of WaterFox.
Okay.
It's okay, man. I mean, if it's a problem, man, it's okay. I'll take up some of your news articles and stuff like that. It'd just be a shame, that's all, because you always have interesting stuff to say.
Yeah. I'm going to log out and try WaterFox and join.
I mean, the only thing I was going to say is, do you use Brave or Vivaldi or anything like that?
No, I just have Chromium and WaterFox.
Because I have
on Google
Brave.
Chromium. Yeah, Google Chromium, I think, is linked to the web app. It won't let me go to the new room.
Oh, it's on Google Chromium.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you try a completely different browser that's Chromium based, like Brave or Vivaldi, I know it's a bit extreme to just download a
whole what's that one called? Chrome.
We're not going to sit here and wait for somebody to install Chrome. And I wouldn't want to put that on Jim anyway. That's just cruel and unusual.
Start the show if you guys are in a rush, but I'm going to log off. I'm going to download.
Oh, I'm in no rush.
No, it's just a news episode.
Mere minutes.
You can just go and try a privacy into a privacy browser and just. Have you tried to?
You could open up hey, Jim, here's what you can do. Open up a private tab or a private window, and then close your window that's got all the
incognito in. I'm trying to think
incognito. Open up an incognito window and then close all the
other
ones.
Also use this one thing called OneTab. It's an extension, and you dump all your tabs into it, and then they're not taking up RAM. And you can just click on them to reopen them as you need them.
Let me go do it instead of talking about it.
Crazy talk, I know, right?
Has he got 150 tabs open?
That's what he's talking. He says he's usually got like 30 to 50 tabs open or something crazy like that. It's as simple as use OneTab.
I suppose I'm difficult about some things too, or anal about some other things. I think people that have that many tabs are mental, but I know that's more common than I once thought.
Yeah, I always thought it was weird that people had that many tabs, but it seems to be relatively common.
Yeah,
People,
I guess.
having 30, 40, 50 tabs open. I'm just kind of like, if I get to like 7, it's itching my OCD.
The incognito tab thing, though, would have been a quick do it right now fix.
Yeah,
Because there's
I
no
got a lot of
login or
tabs.
anything.
I got a lot of tabs open on my garage computer in 3 different windows, doing 3 different types of things, one for each one. But I also got like 60 something gigs of RAM out there. So
Ooh, you could sell that and buy a new car.
Yeah, I was going to say.
it's
I got 60.
DDR4, not DDR5, so
I
not
got
as valuable as
64
you
in
might
this
think.
computer, too.
Yeah.
Of Corsair RAM, Corsair Vengeance RAM, too.
Yeah, if I had DDR5, I'd probably be trying to sell it for like, $4,000. Actually, I'd be able to get $8,000 because I think you get like 32 gigs is now running about $4,000. And then I'd buy a car. Or something that just ran DDR4.
I think I'm going to put a hard gate on Joe's. Let's see what happens here.
What? Because of the hockey game?
I'm just going to see if I can do anything about it. It's not a big deal, but if I can,
Right.
Let's try this.
Probably turn the volume down a little bit.
It's fine.
Oh, the wife says, no, it's not happening.
Let's try this.
She had some choicer words for it, though.
Now voice isolation.
Mrs. Joe, turn it down.
She
Can
says,
you hear me?
she says,
You
feck
have
off.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have clearly not met Mrs. Boylan, have you?
No.
Yeah. I have interviewed
Trial by
Mrs.
fire.
Boylan. I have interviewed Mrs. Boylan, and I would never say those words.
Oh, okay.
I'm not.
She's got to be quite a substantial person to live with Joe. So I'm not probably a bad. Oh,
Majid went away.
Oh boy.
If I turn it down, I won't be able to hear the phone.
That's fine. It's fine.
oh, and he's back.
That gating
He
ain't
disappeared.
And now we can't hear you. Your volume is very, very down. As in, there was sound.
Bill has to fix that. He had to fix
What'd you do? What'd you do? Reboot?
He left and came back.
No.
This is already a fun show, and it hasn't even started yet.
Oh, it's gone again.
So, someone by the name of Charles or Charlie is going to be hosting today.
Oh, heck. No, Charles, is it? I think it's Charles, is it?
Charles, are you hosting today?
Let's get you dialed in, Majid.
I haven't even got a Scooby.
How about that?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's real low.
Okay, that's fine. You're gonna have to keep going up and up and up. And
yeah, that's full blast on my end right there.
I mean, that's as close as I can get this without ingesting this. Do you know what I mean?
Sounds a little better too, because you sounded like you were in a room.
Yeah, no, it sounds quality now.
Yeah.
Okay.
How do I sound okay? Do I sound?
Yeah, you sound.
Yeah,
fine.
you sound good.
fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just on the mic over there.
Okay.
Good old classic.
I mean, I don't want to be Mr. Rush around, but I think we do need to get started. I've got work in the morning, and this might be a 2.5-hour show.
Yeah. Okay. So one of you can tell him.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If he gets on, that's great, and then after that, it's gonna have to because it is getting on a bit.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and give me 20 seconds of mic open silence. 3, 2, 1. All right. Spring is in the air, Charles. Charlie, you need a little tagline.
Okay. Oh, do you mean like still loving Linux Mint or something like that?
Yeah,
Your
like
name's
that.
all the way down at the bottom there.
Okay. When am I?
Replace the 3 dots there.
I got it. I'll put it there.
I wouldn't trust Joe with this if I were you.
Actually, it's all right. Extra minty. I'm Charlie. It's not bad.
Must just be something about me.
Oh, extra minty. I'm Charlie.
You are wearing the Linux Mint hat, and you got that kind of mint green background going there, which is, Bill's fault.
Wasn't that white yesterday?
It is white, and this is a
yeah.
grey shirt, a white and black shirt, actually. But better than red. Better, anything's better than a bright red face. So I don't care.
All right, here we go. Welcome to mintCast, the podcast by the Linux Mint community for all users of Linux. This is episode 483, recorded on Sunday, April 12th, 2026.
Enjoying the rain, I'm Joe.
Sweating the stream, I'm Bill.
Going down memory lane, I'm Majid.
Spring is in the air, I'm Charles.
Feeling extra minty, I'm Charlie.
And we might have Jim. We don't know. We'll find out.
You'll be just as surprised as we are.
He's floating around somewhere.
First up in the news, Mint 23 is named Ubuntu 26.04 coming up, and it's really causing controversy. Firefox gets more features, big tech making some changes, and the governments of the world are meddling in good and bad ways. And we welcome another host. In security and privacy, Flatpak getting more secure, allegedly. And finally, the feedback and a couple suggestions. Please remember, if you want to follow along with our discussion, the full show notes for this episode are linked in the show's description. That's true of the YouTube as well as the audio-only section. First up, the news. The code name for Mint 23 is Alpha. So what are we doing? We're starting over at A, and we're going to go back up through the alphabet again?
Yeah, must be. Must be. And I'm right in that it's going to be based on the new LTS, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how it works, but yeah.
The only reason I say that is because if I'm right, the new LTS is going to have Linux kernel version 7, but that's not actually out yet. Am I right? So I'm just wondering.
Look at all them hands go up.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I mean, you're the mintCast guys, yeah. The extra minty people. You should know this kind of stuff. God's sake.
Oh yeah, because we all just sit around and do nothing but read Mint news.
Exactly. That is your role in life, isn't it, Joe?
Oh yeah. Well, I think.
Wait until you hear my next bi-weekly wanderings.
What is they've recently changed their MO when it comes to the kernel. From what I understand.
Yes, so, good point. I forgot about that.
We're going to go with whatever is available at the time of release, which, I don't know if that sounds like a safe way to go or not, but these days, I'm not going to say it. As a certain type of Linux user that has machines running the latest kernel at all times, nowadays the kernel seems to be very, very stable. Even the up-to-date versions. So, maybe not a bad idea. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, next up, Majid.
Okay, yeah. So, since I already kind of mentioned about the 2604 LTS, yes, so the 2604 beta is now available to download. This is on loads of different articles around about this. The one that I've linked to in the show notes is from OMG Ubuntu. And it talks about, the the planned stable release date being the 23rd of April, which is only about 2 weeks away, actually. It will be out by the time the next episode of mintCast. And it's going to be running on Linux 7, which, as I said, I just found it odd that it had yet to be released, but they'd already made this point. With GNOME 50, and a couple of visual changes on the back end. Firmware packages are split out from the supersized single package to 17 vendor specific ones. There's a number of new packages available, including an AMD, an NVIDIA, OpenJDK 25 is the new default. Some new default apps, some changes to the resource system monitor, etc., etc. So there's quite a lot of changes, none of which are particularly groundbreaking. There are a couple of what you would call quality of life improvements. For example, that the new App Center that they've been using over the last couple of releases will now have deb package management, which I don't know if anybody remembers, but because Ubuntu is Snap first, it only shows Snap in its App Center. And then that didn't even allow you to give you a graphical way of installing debs. You could install debs from the command line. So you kind of had to go off and get something like gdebi or something like that so that you could install deb packages through a graphical interface. There'd been a lot of stuff about, is it conspiracy? And, they don't want you to use debs. But they brought it into the new version of the App Center. I think it's more of something that they overlooked rather than some malicious plan, personally. And a couple of other changes. Now, there is one or two things which I'm just referencing a video which I've put in the check this out. There has been some people who have had some issues. Not some issues, sorry, have some concerns. One of them are things around, the fact that more RAM is required. Now, meaning that technically you need more RAM to run Ubuntu than you do Windows 11. I mean, Windows 11 on 4 gigs of RAM, it doesn't really work well on 16 gigs of RAM. I mean, who the hell is literally out there using it?
I heard about that slight change in the base system requirements, and I think it's just a matter of Windows not paying any attention to it, because they should have upped that a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly.
But they don't want to, because they want more and more people to get their thing and use their thing on as many devices as possible. And they couldn't give two shits, frankly, if it was a good experience or a bad experience, as long as you were using Windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm not so big annoyed, or I'm not as concerned about that. There was one thing, though, that somebody mentioned. It caused a little bit of a discussion in our Discord about how Pipewire is now a snap. And so if you are the type of person that wanted to get rid of Snap from your operating system, and just have, say, Flatpaks or just debs or app images, whatever you want, you will end up uninstalling Pipewire. And you'll have no audio. Now, some people have kind of gone, well, if you're the type of person that's got Ubuntu, then you're probably not the type of person who's going to care too much about Snap versus Flatpak versus debs or whatever. Because you would have, if you had real strong views, like some of us do, for example, you'd be on something like Mint, or you'd be on something like Debian, or it's this thing called Arch, which I don't know if anybody's heard of. I think, Bill, you might have heard of it. I can't remember. Yeah. It's some random distro. I don't think it's very good, actually.
It's for smart people. I don't know. I wouldn't mess
all
with
right.
it.
It's so
smart. It's immutable.
Yeah. So anyway, so my point is, but it is a bit odd, though, isn't it? I mean, I don't know the technical side of this. See, what is the kind of... is it a big deal that Pipewire is a snap?
That makes absolutely no sense to me. I understood why they did it with Chromium. I understood why they did it with Firefox. Those are behemoth packages to maintain for separate distros, whereas you can really, really streamline it by making it. But with this, it just feels like you're just trying to lock people down or whatnot. And if you do go meddling around, you end up getting rid of the pipe wire snap. It's gonna feel like you catastrophically ruined your system if you don't understand how all these things work. So, but again, I think it's for people that will download Ubuntu and use it the way it is, and they don't really care about these things, because if they did, they'd be using something like Mint.
Everything's going to go snap on Ubuntu. That's their plan. Even the desktop, where it'll just come, you can switch desktops even just by simply doing a snap. Now even if you try and there's been some reports of people trying to download deb files, and it's automatically downloaded a snap instead.
Oh yeah, this kind of bait and switch. They've been doing that for a couple of years now, and that does rub people up the wrong way, and it rubs me up the wrong way as well. If I want to install something, I want to install something. Don't, basically do something against what I want to do. That's the whole point of Linux, right? I don't have any problems with Snap as an architecture. I don't know enough about it, frankly. I know that on a server, they're apparently brilliant, etc. And, nowadays everybody's got reasonably strong and powerful hardware. So does it really make a difference in performance? I don't know. But don't do these underhand things. That's the thing.
Again, I just believe that they're building a distro for people that just don't care about this stuff. And
they just want it to work. That's the whole point of Ubuntu.
And you think back to when Unity came out. I did a sudo apt-get full upgrade one day, and then that other command to update to the next major release, and I was presented with the Unity desktop, which was functionally different than GNOME 2, which was what I had prior to that. And there was, for regular people that don't follow podcasts and Linux news, they're just using Linux, that was a seismic shift in workflow. It really was. So this is not the first time Canonical has made big decisions on how.
No, making the decision is not in of itself. They're a company. They have a project. They can try to do whatever the hell they want with it, as long as it's within the appropriate licensing. They're allowed to do what they want. I don't have that problem at all. If you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. Most of us have ended up on Mint. Some people end up on this weirdo thing called Arch. Some people, do other things. That's fine.
That's the only two distros in the whole world.
No, but I'm.
If you're not a corporate user, then it's best not to do Ubuntu. That's the way it's going now. They don't care. They need to. This is now a distro for people in corporations where they have to do quick upgrades. They've got to be as stable as possible. So they don't care about us little tinkerers, because there is 101 other different distributions for you to tinker with. But this Ubuntu now is for corporates. So they're stable, and they can be upgraded quickly by their administrator. And that's basically it.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a couple of times, haven't we, on OTC, Bill, about, that, actually when you think about it from a corporate perspective, the Snap packages and the Snap kind of ecosystem is something that corporations can get their head around much better than, say, some of the other.
Or they don't even have to care about it.
Exactly.
They don't even have to think about it.
And it's interesting, actually, that Ubuntu Pro, which extends the LTS, it's now extending it up to 15 years with this release. That's a long time to be maintaining something. So I suppose you'd want to make it as just works as possible.
Yep.
So if you can get everything running as a snap, then it's all just sitting on top. So it's much easier to offer that longevity when you've got everything just upgrading within a little.
When you're the one supporting the back end, you don't want anybody else messing with it in the ways that they want to. You want it the same as possible. So that way what you're supporting is as cookie cutter as possible. And when it breaks, you know what it is and you know how to fix it. If you bolt on all these other things and it doesn't look like your original system anymore, how are you supposed to be the guy that maintains it? So that's the Ubuntu perspective there, the canonical perspective. So let them do their things, and the people that don't want that can move on to something else, either Mint, Fedora, or Slack, or whatever else makes them happy. Pure Debian. Run it.
So the next article was going to be said by Jim, but Jim's having some technical issues. I'm hoping he will join us, but and it's just basically the same kind of thing. Basically, that Ubuntu now seems to require more RAM than Windows 11. As I've already kind of said, I think it's. I do think this is a bit of a storm in a teacup, though. To be honest, people saying that Ubuntu 14.04 only needed 1 gig, and then 18.04 made it up to 4 gig. It's like, yeah, but even then, I remember running Ubuntu on a 1 gig machine, and it worked. That's fine. I doubt Vista, which allegedly needed 1 gig when it first came out, worked on 1 gig. Just because it says
had Vista running on 512 meg of RAM.
Oh, I bet that was a great experience.
It was faster than XP because it was a machine built with XP on it with a Pentium 4. Oh, that's a lovely sound.
I don't know where that sound is coming from.
Charlie. It's Charlie.
Okay. Anyway, yes. So the point being that, as we kind of said, I think it's a bit of a storm in a teacup. Saying that you need 4 gigs would be actually you would get a decent experience on the minimum specifications for a Linux install of anything.
Yeah.
You will not get that with Windows. That's just life, right?
It's not even worth experimenting with.
Yeah, I don't see Windows 11 running real well on the minimum of 4 gigs of RAM. The first time that the antivirus kicks on, and 3 days later when it's finally done and you're able to do something on your computer.
I mean, have you ever looked at how many background processes are running on a Windows machine?
It's shocking. Yeah.
God knows what they are. God knows, what application is running them or what the heck it's doing. It's just that Windows has to run without expecting anything of the user, and so there's a lot of automation in place. So it wouldn't even be worth the experimenting with, putting Windows in a virtual machine here and then Ubuntu in another one and compare the RAM usage. There's no question whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think it's a bit of a, people getting annoyed by it. I think, there are bigger issues to get annoyed about than this, I think.
Well, on the other hand, though, if the goal is to snapify everything, then, your average application is going to be sitting on considerably more memory just because everything has got its own runtime and everything like that.
Its own stack, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is a thing. Maybe they're just looking out for the future.
But how many computers do you see coming out today that have 4 gigs of RAM? That's not like a Chromebook or something.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, even Chromebooks, are now mainly on 8. So yeah, exactly. I think if you're the type of person that uses Linux to try and resurrect old hardware, then you could say that this is a bit annoying, but then you wouldn't probably be putting full fat Ubuntu 2604 LTS with GNOME and Wayland and all that stuff on a old machine that you're trying to resurrect. You'd probably be trying to use one of the lighter distros, like Ubuntu or Xubuntu or Mate, Ubuntu Mate, which I know apparently is going away, but Poppy, whatever.
They make distros for that, and honestly, Ubuntu has never been one of them. Ubuntu has always been more of a heavyweight.
Yeah. Yeah, it always has been. So I think it's a bit. As I said, there's other things to be getting annoyed by, rather in this whole thing, rather than that. Okay, 2610, which obviously will be coming afterwards. The Ubuntu engineers are debating ways to reduce the number of features present in the signed version of Grub, and this could mean that 2610 drops ButterFS, ZFX, and Lux support from its.
I'm sorry, what was that second one?
ZFS.
Okay.
Zed,
I haven't heard of that, but yeah.
Haven't you? Okay, fine. Yeah.
it's just like a Z, except wrong.
Proper.
It's all British.
Proper.
It's all
Said it
British.
properly. Thank God. I'd like to point out, that
Like
I am
a
no
Z,
longer.
except it carries an umbrella every time it goes out of the house.
Moving swiftly on to the closet races, from the closet races, and what always occurs on this. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah,
it's more nationalism than it is racism.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, potato. Yeah, tomato, whatever the phrase is. Okay, but yeah, okay. So it might be dropping some stuff on /boot, ButterFS, HFS, XFS, ZFS, and ZFS, alongside Grub's JPEG and PNG image parsers ahead of 2610. Apple partition table support, LVM volume handling, all software RAID except RAID 1, and Lux encrypted /boot partitions are also on the chopping block. Apparently, in the article that's linked in the show notes from OMG Ubuntu, many of these features are apparently just inherited by Debian but never tested in Ubuntu. I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah. Lux should be there. Now the other two, you can put those on afterwards yourself. That's not a big deal. But Lux should be there so that when you're doing your first install, you can have it encrypted at the first install. Yeah, ButterFS, ZFS, you can tack back on yourself. In my opinion.
So apparently security is the main motivator for this, because as we know, Grub is normally what we use for if you've got multi-boot and things like that. So Grub runs before Linux does, and so therefore the protections that the Linux operating system has may not necessarily be in the Grub. So Lux as an example, as you've said, and so it could be exploited. I mean, I think there is a bug from 2024 which which exploited a vulnerability in the JPEG parser. I mean, what do we all think about all this? I mean, there's a lot more technical stuff in the article, which goes over a lot of my head, I'll be honest with you.
It's kind of understandable.
Okay. I mean, is it really something that is really unused?
It's not that it's unused, but it's one less thing that they have to maintain once again. And, budget constraints are budget constraints. Which is why I'm saying you can add ButterFS and ZFS on later, but Lux, I think, should be there right from the beginning.
I mean, you can suppose add Lux, but you've already done your first boot, and then okay, fine. Yeah, fine. Okay, we seem to be hemorrhaging hosts. So, like the man on the Titanic, we'll keep marching on.
Do you want me to cover this one?
Yeah, go on. Why don't you cover this one? Everybody's heard enough of my voice.
Yeah, I'm not really a Firefox user, but Firefox announces built-in VPN and other new features, including new mascot. So I have not read this article, and I am not a Firefox user, but it seems like, a built-in VPN is always a good thing to have on any.
Is it though? Really? Is it?
I'd rather do it at the operating system level as opposed to in the browser. But if some people prefer to have just the browser isolated in that way, I could see where it would be useful.
So, I mean, I have read the article. It's from Slashdot, right? And it talks about, it's got a free VPN. You'll get 50 gigs of data monthly, and it's only for a certain number of countries: US, France, Germany, and the UK. I mean,
50 gig. What am I supposed to do the other 28 days of the month?
I know, exactly. So it's not exactly a huge amount. That's point number one. Point number two, the reason that I'm a bit worried about a VPN that's baked into a browser is because I've seen questionable practices by other browsers. Yeah. And Now, Firefox
all this is doing then is passing the trust on to them.
Yeah,
I thought it was like they give you the VPN software there, but then you use your own provider. No, this is actually their provider as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So that as I said, I've come across other browsers that have data mined basically using the VPN, and now I know Mozilla, Firefox, fast, open source, all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's just another attack vector, isn't it?
Yes.
So,
can you hear me now?
Yes, can hear you, Charlie. Go on.
Sorry, I was disconnected for a while. No, but I mean, the big question that's not really I've not heard is what sort of VPN is it? Is your data staying in a VRAM, or which is the normal system nowadays? So if somebody switches off the computer, all your data disappears, or is it being stored somewhere? This seems to be something that's not been clear yet from Mozilla.
Yes, very true. It's not clear.
I'd need some verification from them on some things,
Yeah.
like they're not doing logging at all. Because if they're going to provide a VPN with logging, then it's like I said, it's just giving them all the information to use instead of giving it to somebody else.
And again, there's different types of log. There's different. If they store it on a disk, then of course, if their offices are raided, then your information can be taken before they delete it. But if it's in VRAM, it's
So you do have some VPN providers just store it in RAM, don't they? There's a couple.
I use private internet access, which is an old one. It's good. It's good with, and it cost me, I think, £32 for 2 years on unlimited devices. So this having another VPN in the browser for me is so uninteresting. Really, there's 101 good ones to go for.
Yeah,
50 gigs is nothing. If you leave it on when you're watching a few YouTube videos, it's over.
Yeah,
and let's be honest. It's not the browser we need it for anyway, is it? It's for qubit torrent.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're on about. Oh, you're on about those. You're on about those viewable, watchable Linux ISOs, aren't you? That we get.
Yeah, those Linux ISOs. Yeah.
Those Linux ISO videos. Now I'm going to take this next one too, because this is cool. And my wife Jackie did mention it to me just the other day, and I was wondering what the heck she was talking about. And now I see it right in front of me. So Google now lets you change your Gmail address. So if you have an old, Gmail that you've had for forever, and it's some crazy name because you made it when you were a teenager and dumb, you can now change it to something a little bit more professional, or change it to whatever you want. And you can change it once every 12 months. And the nice thing is that the old email address still works as an alternate email address for that account. And you can still sign in using the old email address. So it's not going to impact any of your logins or anything like that. It's still going to be active, but it's also got a new, perhaps more professional sounding or looking name. And like I said, you can change it every 12 months. And everything is all preserved. It's not making a new account. It's changing your account.
Okay, so they say that it's rolling out gradually. Does that mean? I'm assuming it means the US first, because you guys.
I think it's been tested in India first. I remember a while ago it was India was the first, because they've got different rules of privacy protection over there. As in, you can block your name on Facebook and things like that. So I think it began there, if I remember rightly.
Okay, I'm just going to have a quick look to see if it's come live in the UK. I don't think it has. Looking at this,
that seems really useful for some people.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I don't like Outlook or Hotmail or whatever, but at least what you could do with that, and that they've had for a very long time as well, is you can make an alias. And then that alias will be your login and your email, and you can use whichever of the two, the original Hotmail one, for example, and now the slightly more professional sounding Outlook one or something like that. So, and they've had that for a long time. I mean, literally, I'm talking about, what, 10 years? Easily. So I'm a bit surprised that it's taken Google this long to do it. Maybe it's a complicated way of doing it. I don't know.
You're surprised that Google's taking this long? Come on, man.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Yeah. So, okay. Well, I'm going to have to figure out how exactly to do it. It says that it's how there's no actual button to do it. It says you'll be able to, but it doesn't say how. Anyway.
So this is a changing and not creating aliases to a real Gmail address. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're keeping your old one, which is good, actually. You know, you've still got that, not actually access to it, but because if they allowed your old email to go into the out again, then you'd have people.
Yeah, you'd have to make sure on the sender. Make sure it's the new address sending and not the old address sending.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Somebody want to take this next one from Jim?
So what is the next one? The next one is about, Samsung Messages app is shutting down. Okay, so I actually did see this news. So in the mess that is the Android messaging ecosystem, since there's always been too many apps, and because Google was very scattergun on what it decided to do, the other vendors often used to, come in and make their own. And Samsung was always been good, notorious for having duplicates of everything. Google Wallet, Samsung Wallet. Google Chrome, Samsung Internet. Google's password manager and Samsung's password manager, etc., etc., etc. So one of the ones that Samsung used to have was Samsung Messages. And so it's now discontinuing that. So this article's from Slashdot, but I've seen it in quite a few other places. I saw it on Android Police, I want to say, Android Central, one of the two. So it's going to discontinue the Samsung Messages app in July 2026, and is directing Galaxy users to use Google Messages instead. I think part of this is that they just don't want to maintain it. Nobody's using it, or if people are using it, it's not worth it for them to continue. A lot of even the Samsung phones.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, even if you go
it's gone right now.
Yeah, I mean, even if say you bought a new Samsung S26 or an S25 even, right? The messaging app that's on there by default is Google Messages.
Well, that's because that's the only way you can use RCS messaging.
So here's a point about that. So for a while, before Google adopted RCS, Samsung Messages, at least in Europe, did support RCS. It was the only way to do it, actually. Now, you could argue that doesn't make a huge difference because outside of the US, everybody uses WhatsApp, and I was using WhatsApp, for example. So it may not have been something that everybody was really kind of pushing to use. And I know that the US is a lot more SMS centric, and so therefore when Google took RCS on, and then widespread adoption, there was no need for Samsung to do it anymore, and they could just use theirs. And I'm sure it's about technical overhead and putting the effort in and stuff like that. Because as I said, I remember when initially you could get RCS on Samsung Messages, but you couldn't on Google Messages when they were rolling it out.
Well, aren't they still fighting the issue with trying to get all the carriers to accept RCS? And it seems like that's been an ongoing barrier there. But anyway.
I mean, I don't know. You guys will have to let me know.
Well, what I do know is Samsung Messages has been on the phone, and you couldn't uninstall it, and you couldn't disable it.
You could disable it.
You could disable it, but you couldn't uninstall it.
Right. No, because it's something annoying that I was having to do every time I got a different Samsung phone and got things set up. You have to disable the Samsung Messages and set it up to use the Google Messages and the.
Well, it's just flat gone now.
And voice. Yeah, it's. it was useless. So,
I mean, I used it for a time just because I would go through these periods where I didn't like having two applications on the phone to do the same thing. And if I had to have the Samsung messages on there, I was going to use that. But then the RCS thing became a thing, and it was a better way to interact with Apple people. You know, everybody's got them.
I mean, Google Messages still isn't that big in the UK, is it, Charlie? It's still made. Everybody's just on WhatsApp, aren't they?
Most people use WhatsApp. Yeah, I mean now, even though you can send photos now, most people just use the WhatsApp, which is not a good thing. You know, we should be using a different one. But
we should all be using Signal, but we're not.
Yep, we should be using Signal.
Yeah, we should be using Signal.
Or Telegram. Telegram's fantastic, isn't it, Bill?
Oh, it's lovely. Yeah.
You meet a lot of new people on Telegram very quickly. You know, you get a lot of new admirers.
And some of them are actually people.
Yeah. Lots of new admirers. Yeah. You know, Filipino women, especially, it seems.
Yeah.
God.
they're always like 20.
Yeah.
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 I see their photo and I just immediately nope.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get too dark into that cesspit, Joe, you're next, aren't you?
Yep. Okay, let me see here. Microsoft mysteriously freezes accounts for Veracrypt, WireGuard, and WinScribe. So basically what it means is that these open source software cannot sign their drivers, so they can't put out updates for Windows, and most of their users are on Windows. It's been going on for more than a month, and Windows is saying that they've also, lost access to their account. Let me see if I can find it. WinScribe tweeted that Microsoft had also suspended its own verified account. Okay, so they've been trying to do that for over a month. Trying to see where Microsoft's response was. It was somewhere in this article. The cause of the issue, re-verification, is certainly a legitimate requirement, but how Microsoft has handled this process in support of issues with re-verification has been nothing short of an abomination. We re-verified months ago, signed drivers. So it seems like they're just blocking these open source guys for essentially no reason.
Sure, it's just not another expired certificate
for three different companies. Yeah, very well could be, but why is it taking so long to fix the issue?
Three different companies who all do the same kind of thing. Interesting, that.
Right? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is that they're open source. From looking at the three products, and what was the thing? Microsoft loves Linux. I heart Linux.
Yeah.
I heart open source. Except obviously they have a bone with these people, but in the recertification sounds like a con and a scam to irritate them and cause them to jump through extra hoops, in my opinion. But
it might also be a little bit, preemptive in regards to some of the politics around the world, with VPNs coming into a spotlight and wanting, countries wanting to make them illegal, essentially, to protect the kids. So,
yes, of course, I agree.
If you're using Veracrypt, they're not holding the keys. Whereas, with BitLocker, they've got the keys, and then if the government wants them, they can see anything they want on your laptop when they seize it for no reason. So,
and I don't see BitLocker on this list.
Yeah.
No, because that's their bread and butter, isn't it? That's what's holding all their bits together. Moving on.
Oh, and that's also me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Another common sense event here. Never mind.
Why did the FCC ban foreign-made consumer routers? Now, I've seen a lot of videos on this, and I tried to dig in and find some actual verifiable articles pointing to different hacks that have been made to say, yes, this was an issue with TP-Link or whatever other foreign-made router it is that they're planning on banning. But essentially, the American government has gone in and said, we are banning all foreign-made routers as of March
It's them.
2027.
That foreign stuff ain't good for you. That's probably what they said, but not in a Yorkshire accent.
You need
If
to
it
buy
ain't made in
American.
America.
You need to buy American-made routers.
Except there's only one company that I can think of that is making American-made routers.
It's not
Do you know what company that is?
It's not affiliated to the Trump family by any chance, is it?
It's Starlink.
Wow. What are the chances, eh? I'm sure none of that was planned.
Moving on. I mean, but is it to play
anyways.
Thanks, Charlie, for putting a screen over that hole.
Okay, so the key takeaways on this is national security concerns drive the ban on foreign-made consumer networking equipment. The government ban affects only new models of consumer routers. So anything that is currently past the FCC can still be sold. So this isn't really going to affect things even in March of 2027. It'll be like the year after, once new technology comes out, or the year after that, once things move along. The FCC impacts future models from all major consumer router brands and will need to apply for conditional approval from the DOW or DHS. The ban is accelerating interest in prosumer and SMB enterprise light gear for home networks. Now, this does make me want to go and purchase a PCIe card with 4 ports of 2.5G and build my own.
Yeah,
but I still
buy up a shit ton of TP-Link routers and just
order them.
Yeah,
right. Like, is this really going to stop people from ordering them from China?
Yeah.
No.
Just to play devil's advocate, don't you think is there any good reason why they're doing it?
Not a one.
Yeah, they claim that they're worried about consumers' routers getting taken over for attacks and stuff. But this is asinine. It's beyond asinine. But considering the current government and structure we have, it's not surprising.
He about said regime.
It's not surprising. There's no comment, no feedback. They made this draconian decision, and damned if you question them or push back. We'll tell you how it is. You don't get to give any feedback or opinions.
God, I'll get on a boat and go wherever these things are made before I buy a Starlink router.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, I will build my own long before.
You can make a darn good router with pfSense or OpenWRT or something like that with decent little machine.
Mini ITX board, a couple PCIe cards.
Yeah, you really can. Well, I think that eroded far enough.
Okay, so it's Charlie's turn.
Charlie! Yes, well, we've...
So, wait a second here. I actually put this in, but with the NHS...
if you want to, Charles?
Go for it, Charles. Go for it.
Okay, all right, because I was looking at this, Charlie. I put this in. Anyway, so this next item is NHS staff resist using Palantir software. It's over in a couple of our hosts' homeland there, and I thought this was an interesting article. Basically, there's two things here. One is people are pushing back, and they're flat out, according to their article, refusing to use it. The Palantir software, and they're even using pen and paper instead of using a Palantir software. And then the government, I think, is trying to cancel one of the current contracts with Palantir, but then in the same breath, they're renewing or doing another contract with another agency or group to use Palantir software. So I don't know. It's interesting in the sense that Palantir is a very surveillance state group of people. Here in the States, the Homeland Security uses it. I think the Pentagon's using it, especially with immigration, for tracking people that they want to get rid of. And it's just a huge surveillance thing. And I don't know. I put this in the link in the in the chat a couple days ago, earlier in the week, but I didn't see any. I was trying to get Majid to.
Yeah. So I mean, so this is okay. There's a couple of aspects to this, at least from the NHS perspective, being an NHS employee. Lots of people have shown disquiet about the idea of Palantir getting involved, having access to medical records, the definition of sensitive information, your health issues, but also, where you live and, who you're registered with, who your next of kin are, etc., etc. On the other hand, though,
Can you do me a favor?
Sorry. On the other hand, it's NHS IT is just rubbish, and it has been for ever since Tony Blair decided to do his national program for IT in the early 2000s. That cost 37 billion before they decided that it wasn't working, and now they were going to cancel it. And
only 37 billion. That's a bargain, isn't it?
In 2002. So add the inflation bit to it. Okay. And so there are some people who will say, yes, kind of like I'll hold my nose and do it, because if at least we get a decent system running, then that's better than nothing. And then on top of that, then there is if a trust, a NHS trust, decides to implement it, there's very little a person on the ground can do unless they know their IT shit. So, for example, we have had this isn't a Palantir thing, but we've had a different company that has now got involved in our operating theatre scheduling, and it has not gone well, shall we put it that way. Teething problems are expected, but when people are being listed for completely incorrect operations under completely incorrect anesthetic, etc., that's a bit of a problem. Now, when you then start delving a bit more into it, you then realize that this company had sold itself on being that it gave it a integrated solution. And there is a big push towards electronic patient records, which not every trust has. So, for example, the one up the road from us does, but we don't. One down the road has one, but it's a different one, etc. Right? And they don't necessarily all talk to each other. So somebody thought this was a great idea. We buy this thing, and then we'll integrate into other things that we're supposed to do. Except the company itself then got bought up by venture capitalists, and they've started stripping stuff. And so now, yes, they have given the theatre scheduling thing that the trust wanted, but all the stuff that they'd said when the contract was initially made about integration has all been sold off by the VC capitalists, hedge funds, whatever. So we're not going to get any of that. And so this is the kind of state that we're in, do you know what I mean, in IT, in the NHS. And so at a certain point, some people just turn around and go, you know what, if it works, we'll manage. I'm not sure that's a good idea. Personally, I'm against this, but I have a little bit of understanding of the IT issues. Most clinicians don't, and why would you expect them to? Know all the inner dealings of all this kind of stuff. I don't know if you've seen it in any other kind of sectors in the UK, Charlie. I don't know if you ever worked in the public sector or anything, but that's kind of the attitude people often have.
Well, I know it cost about 300 million. It was back in, I think, 2023, wasn't it, when they invested? So it was the previous government. So we can't blame our illustrious Prime Minister of the moment.
Yeah, about 4 ministers ago.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I don't know. You can't trust any big companies nowadays. It's sort of one of those catch-22 situations, isn't it?
4 prime ministers ago. You mean last week?
Meow. So I don't know. All I know is that the NHS is now in a terrible mess. It's super slow. I mean, now I'm waiting I have to go for a sleep apnea test, it seems, because maybe that's why I'm bright red. I don't know. But they it's been like 2 months I'm waiting in line just to get a phone call. Yeah. So, but our system is terrible anyway, without going into too much about it. But it's I mean, the States is one way, totally the opposite to Britain. You know, ours is everything free, so people just throw themselves on the NHS. There's no benefit to look after yourself. There's no benefit to be healthy. They just go and join. They just throw themselves on the. Well, that's true. I mean,
There's a really silly way for people to look at it, honestly.
No, I mean
that's what they do. You know,
you were right, Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. Sorry, Charlie. You were right. Sorry, apologies. That in the past there was that perception that you could just treat yourself like shit, do whatever, smoke 50 a day or drink 30 liters, whatever, because of the competing needs and stuff of the NHS. There has been an element of rationing now, where people, you do turn around and you say, yes, I know you have a hernia, but we're not fixing it because you're the size of a small planet. Lose some weight and then we'll come back. All right.
Well, the problem being is that you have to wait for 3 months, and so if you have got some major illness, you might not make it to the appointment. Anyway, I guess this is going off and getting a little bit political, but I haven't seen any of this. But all I know is that we need to sort something out with our NHS, and
that sounds like a discussion for another show, though.
It does.
Yeah. All right.
Bill?
So who's the next one? It's Bill, is it? Yeah.
That it is. France launches government Linux desktop plan as Windows exit begins. So this is based on a article in Linuxiac. And once again, we hear about a government switching to Linux. It's not a long article, so I'm going to go ahead and read it because I don't know. I've not heard many other people talking about this. France is transitioning government desktops to Linux, with each ministry required to formalize its implementation plan by autumn 2026. And it goes on to read, France has incorporated Linux desktops into its national digital sovereignty strategy, or DINAM is the acronym. France's Interministerial Digital Directorate announced a transition from Windows to Linux workstations.
Are you regretting saying that you would read this now?
I mean, as long as it doesn't get any worse. According to an official government press release, this change is part of a broader initiative to reduce reliance on non-European digital technologies. The government's statement is notably direct. The section on workstation evolution confirms that DINAM will replace Windows with Linux systems. The press release also requires each ministry, including public operators, to develop a plan by autumn 2026 addressing desktop systems.
All right. Yeah. So we get the idea that they're planning on transitioning over to Linux. Now, we have seen this multiple times before, either with cities or countries. Hold on, I'm getting there. With cities or countries making that transition. And then, either they screw it up so hard that they end up pulling out and going back because the support isn't there for it or whatever, or they find out being their own support's more difficult than they thought. Or Microsoft comes in and offers them so much in discounts and everything else that it's easier for them just to switch back. But that's when it was all monetary based. Now it's political based. Maybe we'll see a bit more of a hard change, and it's staying there since they want to, insource it away from, us, you over on this side of the pond. So,
for crying out loud, use something that's already purpose built. There is a number of European-based companies that are offering the right thing. The mistake these people always make is they've got one guy working for them then that knows how to stand all this stuff up with custom-made distributions and the whole stack being custom, and this one guy knows how to do it, and then he moves on to work somewhere else.
Well, even if he doesn't, he's still just one guy.
Yeah, and
difference is this time a whole country, this has been a declaration which we haven't seen before. A whole country actually declaring. You've seen a lot of German
Cities
states,
in Germany,
cities and states, especially in Germany, saying that. But and they have gone back. But some of it also just switched over as well. But there is a lot of movement now. We're getting this, for example, the Euro office. You may have heard about that, the big controversy there.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, a fork. Yeah, this Euro office, they just forked, or group forked only Office, and they're testing Euro Office is instead of using Nextcloud, because Nextcloud has some complexities as has been discussed here.
Yeah, isn't only Office Russian or something? Isn't that the reason? One of the reasons?
It's registered in Latvia, but that's just a front for all the Russian workers. I mean, they're probably really good people in some way, but it's just a political hot potato, so they don't want to be connected with Russia, and also that they do have some dubious things like slowing things down for people who aren't paying the premium. Nobody else can contribute to the only Office, only the actual developers.
And they've messed around with the license as well, because they've kind of said that because it's under the normal GPL.
AGPL, it's under.
But then they've added things like you can fork this, but you can't change the trademark, and then. And then one straight below it is the trademark can never be changed, or if you change it, you lose the right to redistribute it. Basically, a way of some as an unsavory, not in the spirit of open source practices. Put it that way.
Yeah. So we'll see. At least I mean, we might end up with some better stuff. Let's say, coming out of this. Because they just don't want the United States to have the big switch. That's all. So literally, they can switch off at any time.
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of to what Joe was saying, that a lot of these things, the world has got to the stage when everybody's realized that you need to have your sovereignty over many things, and one of them is data and this kind of stuff. And I think maybe some countries are now waking up and smelling the coffee a bit late, or maybe they've just thought, what, let's be more independent, whatever it might be.
But the thing is that, as Joe said, Microsoft can come along now and just say, with the next group of politicians, and say, look, we've got you a nice sweet deal here. And the whole thing will just collapse.
But see, that's the point, isn't it? That, in the past, it was all about money. And so Microsoft could come and do that. Or Microsoft could then say, okay, well, we're building a data center in your city that will employ X number of people, if you haven't used that stuff, or whatever.
It does feel different because of that, yeah.
Yeah, but now it seems, as I said... But now
they could still move everything over to Europe. They could.
It's not going to change. It's not going to change that it's an American-based company, and that anything that they build there is still going to have attachments back to data centers here.
Like AKA AWS, where they just said, "Oh, we're having sovereign AWS in your country. It has nothing to do with the US." Yeah, right. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll see. It may be like ByteDance and TikTok. I don't know. The
because we believe that TikTok gave up all their ties to China.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm next again. And this might not sound like a tech story, but trust me, there is some tech involved in this. So 22,000 students in the UK told to pay back missold maintenance loans. So this is from the BBC. And so in the UK, when you go to university, you can apply for a student loan to cover your tuition fees, and you can also apply for a student loan to cover your maintenance costs. Now, it's done in a very labyrinthine and complicated way, which really annoys the hell out of me. I've got 2 kids going through this at the minute, so that's why. And if you're asking for the loan for the tuition fees, then that gets paid straight from the loan company to the university, so you never see the money. But if it's the maintenance loan, then that comes to you directly from student loan company. Okay, so what's happened is that there have been certain courses which are not eligible for this maintenance loan, but the students were told that they were. And so the students took out said maintenance loans. And now the student loan company has said, oh, you should never have had those loans. We want them back. And, this is like 15, 20, 25. One guy was 30 grand, right? Now, as is per usual in these kinds of things, everybody blames everybody else. Students' loan company says the university's categorized it wrong. The university say, no, the student loans company should have checked whether it was eligible or not. Department of Education has its own thing, whatever. And poor, the person on the ground is the one that has, is stuck with now getting a threatening letter from Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs and Student Loans Company saying you have to pay back 20 grand. So
His Majesty.
Yeah. Did I say Her Majesty? I'm so used to saying her because it's been so long. Yeah. Anyway, so what's the tech bit, you might be wondering? So I was listening to, discussions about this on the radio, and somebody rang in saying, I work for a university, and the way that the approval process is architected, when you do the form, when you say, for example, you start a new course, and you're telling the students' loan company, the Department of Education, that this new course is being offered now by this university, and it's eligible for this, and this. Or sorry, we're submitting the information to you. You tell us if it's eligible or not. There's one section on there on the kind of the database form or whatever the form it is that is there, which is an optional one, which says, is this distance learning? Right? So people just didn't fill it out because it's optional. You don't have to fill it out. That is why these ones have been disqualified, because these courses were deemed to be distance learning because they were done either, work from home type of thing, or were done on weekends, and so therefore would not be eligible. So it was a technical, somebody wrote this form incorrectly, which then people then answered to the best of their ability, and unfortunately 22,000 students are now got to pay back thousands of pounds. So if anybody ever wondered, when people say, oh, you nerds, you just sit and talk about technology, what relevance does it have to the real world, blah blah blah, here you go. Somebody wrote a bad form and now you've got to pay back 20 grand. That's the reason I added it on. On that happy note, let's move on.
Showstopper there. Oh, so it's me next, isn't it? So this is another little bit of controversy from Office Suites. So this is basically between Calabra or my lips aren't getting around this. Calabora and LibreOffice, or the Document Foundation. Basically, there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of people getting very heated, a lot of people are not just looking at the whole facts. We don't know the whole facts at the moment, so I'm just going to try and keep it a little bit straight and to the point without trying to give any judgment. But basically, it seems that the Document Foundation has been struggling to keep within the restrictions of the German, I forget the term now. It's the non-profit. That's it. So they've been had 3 times they've been tested to see if they're falling within that category, and now they've been trying to be forced into making better decisions. For example, not having people on the board who are also the people who are deciding where the grants are going, and so it has become now that they've made this move where they decided to get rid of one of their highest contributing groups or actual profit-making companies collabora. I'm not even sure I pronounced that right, but and this has caused a complete breakdown in the relationship between the two groups, because 30 people, and seven of them have been contributing before even the Document Foundation was formed, and of course,
Hey,
they are
Charlie.
really, yeah,
Can you say collaboration?
collaboration, collabora.
Collabora.
That's got it. Yeah, thank you. So yeah, so it's a bit of a, there's a lot of the collabora on one side is very upset because they feel they have contributed something like 90% of the code that was quotes at to the actual code, the new code, and so now they feel they've just been kicked out because of um, political, it's the Document Foundation being overly political, but it's hard to know which is actually the right side, so it's better not to make a decision until there's more information. So I'm going to leave it as that. Has anybody got anything else to add?
Well, no.
No, I guess that's a no.
I think we ought to pay attention to this as time goes on, because we depend on Collabora and Nextcloud for our show documents and everything and that. And
well, they have said they're going to create their own more slimmed down version, which will be a lot lighter weight. No Java, things like that, which is quite heavy. So it may be good. It may be good, because they are, when you're trying to use it on Nextcloud and open it up, it is quite a hefty program.
It is. It's full fat LibreOffice running in your browser, which I suppose there's a need for that. But all folks like this, all we really want is something that's a little more aligned with like Google Docs or something like that. I wish there was a way to. I wish there was a setting to make it work that way, but whatever. So that's it for the news. Moving on to security and privacy. First up, Charlie again.
Well, this is all about Flatpak. Shame that Jim isn't here. He would be smiling from ear to ear because he's not a great fan of Flatpak. But finally, they've fixed a problem where the actual Flatpak security, it could be overridden, the sandboxing by symlinks. So literally a Flatpak could break out of its sandbox and manipulate files on your hard drive. So this is quite an important, a super important fix that they've done in 1.16.4. And so now literally, fingers crossed, all the Flatpaks are now completely secure. Okay, who's next?
Oh, I think it's me. Is it me? It's me.
It is.
Okay. I guess this is more of a Windows type of news thing here. CPU ID website hacked. Users report HW Monitor and CPU Z delivering malware. So CPU ID confirms its website has been compromised. Downloading Hardware Monitor and CPU Z, popular Windows utilities, infected some users with malware. So yeah, if you've downloaded these, check. If you're using Windows and listening to this show, check. Users reported compromise. CPU ID is a French software company behind popular hardware information and monitor tools to track temperatures, voltages, fan speeds, power, and other parameters. Its website is currently unavailable at the time of the writing of this article. So yeah, just something to be aware of. Malware analysts at VX Underground confirmed the compromise, noting that the multi-stage malware is distributed from a compromised domain, is deeply Trojanized, operates almost entirely in memory, and uses interesting methods to evade detection. Okay. That's all I got.
Okay. I guess I'm up next. So, this here Cloudflare aims to dethrone WordPress with M-, its new plugin secure CMS. So, Cloudflare has decided that WordPress needed a, how do you say, a more secure offering, if you will. So, I'll just read the first paragraph or two here. It says the U.S. technology giant showcases M-, that's Echo, Michael, David, Apple, Sam, Harry, as a ground-up rebuild of WordPress, the world's most popular CMS, powering 40% of websites. Cloudflare believes that the server era is over. Most developers no longer run websites on bare metal. M- can run on any Node.js server. Its core promise is solving WordPress's Achilles heel, plugin security. Anybody that's been around for, I don't know, 20 years or so, it's known that WordPress is great, easy to use and spin up and everything, but it has, as it says, plugins problem. And this is written in TrueScript as compared to WordPress, which is written in PHP, which is notoriously secure prone or has lots of security issues. So anyway, thought it was kind of interesting. I was listening to this on Leo Laporte's network. Steve Gibson was talking about this, and Leo Laporte made the comment that he thought that this was probably done with AI, and because it fits right into the AI coding to get this up.
Wow, we got about an hour and a half into this show before we mentioned AI. That's the longest probably we've been.
But anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting because ironically, several months ago or a year ago, my girlfriend wanted me, hey, I want to sell some stuff. Why don't you spin me up a WordPress site? I said, no, we don't want to use WordPress. So, and she's okay, all right, you're the IT person, so let me know when something better comes along. But anyway, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see if this gets popularity, and there's another player in that world there. So yeah, but anyway, so there you go. Thoughts,
I think
comments?
This is really amazing, actually. This is because I used to do WordPress design, but after all the fiasco of the leader of WordPress, who basically declared that it was his property, so there's no other competition to it. So it's good now there's some sort of competition. I hope they'll be able to use some of the WordPress plugins. So have you heard anything about that, Charles? Or
no, from what I understood is that this will allow you to write new plugins using this framework, and they'll be secure. Oh, I'm sorry, I buried the lead. So what this does, it with the plugins for this new thing here, it puts them in containers so they can't jump out and go into the main system and do nasty things. So that's the big advantage of this new system here. So anyway, it's containerized, secured, and so you can't get the plugins can't get up to no good yet. Anyway,
don't worry, somebody will complain that they use too much memory.
I'm sure. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, Charlie, you were talking about. I remember that a couple of years ago. That I can't think of the guy's name. I've heard interviews with him. Him and the somebody else had forked WordPress, or they're reselling it, and they're in this. They're suing each other. And the founder of WordPress said that the other company is not contributing back to their ecosystem, so therefore he wants
ongoing.
Right,
it's still ongoing. They keep putting back all the legal things. Yeah, it's a huge thing. It's there's been so many videos about it out there, but it's horrendous. The whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that then.
Yep, moving on.
Crunching.
Oh, guess what? We can't hear Bill now. This is brilliant. God.
Let's put our hands together and talk about the mute button real quick because it doesn't seem to get around enough. No? Okay. Moving on. That's it for security and privacy. And, this is written under Leonard's innards in our notes. We'll have a quick introduction to our newest member because I don't think we've done a good enough job of that in the past because there's at least 3 people on this show I know absolutely nothing about.
You guys did interview me quite well, actually.
Yeah, we did. We never
that.
interviewed Charles, and we never got an origin story on Charles or Jim, and they never volunteered the information. So it just never. They just kind of appeared out of nowhere.
You got to remember, you should know. We were both in the Navy or military, strictly on a need-to-know basis. So,
yeah, I suppose. But yeah, we do have a new host, Charlie, aka Immutable Charlie,
or Foss Charlie, or Minty Charlie.
Yeah,
he's changed now because he can't. He's now using Mint. So until they actually bring out
so good though, that Immutable Charlie. It was almost as good as GNU 2 Linux. I mean, with a name.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I got that, I thought that's clever.
That is good.
I don't need to know any backstory. You can come on the show.
But yeah, welcome to the show, Charlie. Straight
Thank
up.
you.
I mean, we're glad to have you here. Tell us.
Well, I've been a long time listener. I've been listening for years and years, and I don't do social media. I don't comment on anything. I just lurk. I think is that the term they use?
Yeah,
lurking.
You can't say that anymore. You can't say that anymore.
Is what it is.
Really? Is that not? Okay,
here you are having an opinion and putting it out there for the public to see.
Yeah. So I just read people. I was a screen shouter. So just somebody who watched and shouted at the screen, felt good about it, and then went on.
You'd be surprised. We get a lot of hosts that way, where they were so busy screaming at the screen, "You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong," and then they come on here to tell us that we're wrong, and we're like, "Join us," and they do.
Yeah. Who was
He's
that?
not kidding. Eric was. I think that's Eric's origin story.
Yeah, that was Eric's origin story.
I think
he got up just saying everything, all the things that we got wrong.
I think it was me, actually.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was you as well.
And fine. I think most of the feedback we used to get was correcting me, or they thought they were correcting me.
Oh, okay. They thought they were. Oh, okay.
Reality is subjective. So how long you been using Linux, all in all, Charlie?
Well, the first. I think I was trying to work out when I actually bought my first one. I know it was in a box from PC World. That's like your Best Buy. And I remember buying this box, opening up and installing it on my computer and then thinking, what the hell do I do with it now? I couldn't get any Wi-Fi drivers. And it was just a complete mess, and there was nowhere really to connect to anyway, I mean.
So back in 2010, I assume, 2010 through 2013-ish, in that range.
That was back when there was a package on Mint called NDS Wrapper. Was the one where you would import a Windows wireless driver into this thing, and it would make or somehow banjacks together a Linux wireless driver. And it was, to say it was hit and miss was understating it. It used to be pretty bad for wireless.
Oh yeah.
So it was just a fun thing. I never knew what to do with it after that. So then I left it, and then I came back when Ubuntu came out. So one of the first Ubuntus, and then finally there was something to connect to. And then I used to have a business. I used to have an internet cafe. I tried to make it Linux, but there wasn't the right equipment to handle the the switching the screens on and off, and there was I remember there being a free open source one, but it was disastrous, so I had to use Windows for that, which I was very upset about, but because I used Linux at home, and I've been using it now I think for about 20 years.
Are you like an IT professional who got into Linux that way, or did you get into Linux as a pure nerd hobby type thing?
Well, my job was I was always on the road because I was a tour guide on buses. So I would be out for basically back to back taking groups of Americans, New Zealand, Australia on tours. And so you never had time at all to mess with computers then. But as soon as I came home, I would be straight on it, and I would be playing catch up, trying to watch all the videos, listen to podcasts. And then again, away you went. So it was like, what do they call it now? Famine and feast continually. And nowadays and now I'm semi-retired, you could say. So now I've got loads of time to invest in learning more about Linux, and now I can come on the show and
oh man, I wish I could semi-retire. I'll be able to partially retire about the time I'm 103.
I'm also I'm a tiny house liver, so you probably can't see much here, but this is basically that's.
Oh, you just unplugged something.
There goes your audio.
Whatever you touched, untouch it.
Right? And we still can't hear you if you're talking. Can't see your face now either, but that's because you moved your camera.
This is great for an audio podcast, isn't it?
It's awesome.
This is even better. This is an even better episode than the Linux OTC that we did when I had toothache. Remember that?
Since he's gone, I'm going to say this real quick. I'm going to say this real quick, and don't you guys tell him I said this, but we might.
And I'm back in the
never
room.
mind.
Will I have to listen to the?
Oh,
turn that
somebody
down.
Fixed that. Oh my God!
Have I suddenly come up high volume?
Man, you should have heard the horrible things Bill was saying about you.
Oh man, the timing of that was absolutely brilliant. The timing of your
I was trying to get it out, but it didn't come. It didn't come out in time.
Oh God.
Well,
all right, so
there's pills for that, by the way, Bill. But anyway,
you've been a petty dabbler with Linux for about 20 years, give or take.
Yes.
You used to do tour guide work, which I find insanely interesting, and might be good for a conversation on the show sometime about it.
Well, we started in London,
tourists,
and we take them around on 7 to 31 day tours of Europe. So we go to a city, hand them over to a tour guide. They go on a day tour around the city. Go on to the next city, see that. Go on to the next city, see that. That was basically.
So was this like a big chain company type thing, or was it this?
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds really interesting. I'd love to travel, man. I'd love to travel.
Yeah, I mean, I've traveled, but that's why I'm okay about living in small spaces, because I've lived in hotel rooms more. My house is 5 meters by 5 meters.
That's they don't understand that yet because they're all in foot and inches.
Oh no! I can do that one in my head.
Let's do about 15 feet by 15 feet.
Yeah,
that's it.
It's like my bedroom.
Well, it is. Yeah, that's my whole house, but I love it. I just think it's. I have my desk and I have my kitchen. I have my.
Where do you put all the servers?
Servers? Well, just mini PC.
You've obviously not heard of Joe's server game.
It's all my mini rack. I mean,
one wonders if he's compensating for something by having very large servers. But I mean, not that I would say.
My mini rack is only about 10 inches wide. Oh, it'd be 10 and a half inches
10
wide.
10 inches. You wish.
10 inches wide. And
what are we talking about now? Are we still on service?
2, 4, 5, 6,
Well,
7. It's 7 U tall.
Maybe. Who knows what we're on about? Who knows what we're on about anyway?
Actually, no. It would be 9 U tall. 9 U tall.
Okay. Anyway, the point is that Joe has loads of shit in his house, and the idea of anybody not having that much shit in their house just boggles the mind for him. It's like, what? You only have
okay.
servers?
I just want to point this out. I just want to point this out. If you look above that on air sign in Bill's area right there, how many microphones are there? If you were to turn Bill's camera, if you were to turn Bill's camera or point it under his desk, how many computers do you think you would find?
Well, so now we've got two guys who are obviously compensating for something and needing to buy loads of servers for it.
Well, the difference is I find the low cost deals and I find them to fix them and then make them work again, and then I just don't get rid of them.
Yeah, well, he just no. You just spend money again and again and again and again, and then you have it makes me think that a truck driver must earn quite a decent amount in the US.
Well, not right now.
Maybe I should retrain.
Truck driver that operates special types of equipment and has been doing it for 35 years makes good money at it.
I could have transitioned into truck driving when I had my hazmat license, and I probably could have done really well. Or when I had my crane operator's license, I could have transitioned into that and done pretty well. My problem is that my body was already falling apart when I got out of the military, so I chose a job where I get to sit down most of the time.
Sitting down's not good for you. I went to meet a mate of mine the other day up in Middlesbrough.
This is why I go to the gym.
Yeah, no, I'm going to say, but anyway, because he, he's an IT guy. He spent most of his time coding or whatever, working from home, software development. And then he got back pain and he went to his doctor. And basically his doctor said, you've just been sat in a bad position for the last 25 years. That's why you've got back pain, et cetera, et cetera. So just sometimes, inaction can be as bad for your body as action.
Doc, it hurts when I do this. Doc said, don't do that.
On a separate note, on a completely separate note, when I saw that picture, I don't know trucks yet, but when I saw that picture of your truck, I thought that is a sweet ride.
Which one? The blue one? The one I got now?
Yeah. Oh man, that looks so cool.
That's my tiny house. Because I probably spend more time in that blue metal box than I do in this house. So yeah.
But anyway, we were supposed to be talking about Charlie, weren't we? Shit, we've gone into our own.
Charlie. We are.
My dream is to go in. I mean, I live on a narrowboat. That is it's either that or a van, and go and travel Europe. But as I get older, maybe it's going to be something a little slower, like a narrowboat.
So when you're done with that week, after you've traveled all of Europe and what are you going to do? For the other 50 weeks of the year.
Have you driven across Europe?
Well, I've traveled over a lot of the United States. So I even did a tour from Denver to Las Vegas once. Somebody got injured and I had to take over the last seconds of this.
That's not that far.
And I had to do a tour. Didn't know where I was. I had to go and I thought, no problem. I'll use the internet and I'll just read from the internet. But who knew the United States has such terrible internet? So I'm in this coach,
especially
seeing all these things, trying to get the.
Okay, let me put this into perspective for you. Denver to Vegas is not that far.
Horse shit.
Okay, Texas. Okay, El Paso to Northwest Iowa then is far.
Well,
Denver to Vegas is not that far.
I mean, you're telling people who live on a small island, right? For us, flipping everything is far. Going down to London is far.
Yeah.
And which Vegas?
What do you mean, which Vegas? There's more than one?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, Nevada, Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's 752 miles. driving.
See, 752 miles will get you from Land's End to John
10
O'Groats.
hours. That's 10 hours of driving.
That's 1 day of driving for me.
10 hours.
Yeah, so that is the whole length of this country. So there you go.
We always used to make jokes about Americans, about the distance. They say, "Oh, it's just down the road, just 5 blocks." You're driving half an hour, and you're still not there. So that was they always made about your lack of judgment and distance.
There's a big difference between 5 blocks in New York or Chicago, and then like 5 blocks in South Bend, Indiana.
Yeah, in stark contrast, from my house to Joe's house, for example, is 997 miles, which is more than I can legally cover in a day.
And he does have my address.
I do.
So, what apart from shouting at the TV or podcast player or whatever, what also made you think about joining the podcast? Was it that you thought we were a lovely bunch of guys, or did you have some forthright opinions you wanted to share?
I just think you're just wonderful people, and I just wanted to be part of the group.
He's trying to infect us with AI is what he's trying to do.
Okay. What got you into Linux Mint?
Well, I personally think that immutable is the way everything should go. If you're,
oh God, here comes
you're not.
Yeah, but why? But why?
Because I just think, when I ran my internet cafe, I had everything sort of locked down, and when the computers rebooted, it would go back to exactly as it was. And it's so simple, there's no viruses. I mean, we haven't really got the full true immutability at the moment, but it just keeps it like a Chromebook. You can't go wrong, and everything just should sit on top of it.
So, to prevent idiocy, you think immutable is the way to go?
I mean, if you think about it, that's what
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah,
I think that would be really useful to get the majority of people onto Linux, because then they can't mess it up. And most people just want it to work anyway, and the easiest way to do that is with an immutable. And then you have the other distros for people like us that want to tinker around with things.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way. I think anything in production, if you're using it for production, as a user, I consider myself a user. I have no interest in programming. When I was younger, when we had the ZX81, when I was in my teens, then I learned programming, and I remember I made a little game where the penguin would push the ice cube across. And I could have took that route, and I could have gone into programming. I'm glad I didn't, because I think I would have gone totally crazy. But and I went into tourism instead. But it's I
let that Z slide right on by.
That Z.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it was a British computer.
It's a proper Z. It's a proper Z.
So was that your first computer, the ZX Spectrum?
No, the 81.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh,
little black box.
Oh, yeah. So okay, so
we couldn't. There was a BBC which schools had, but we couldn't afford that. And my school, it's anything that was cost money would never. I was from South Manchester, so we didn't have any. The school was named Knocker Road, so you can imagine imagine it wasn't the height of learning.
Now, in regards to mini PCs, because I do enjoy mini PCs as well. What do you run? What's your preference?
Well, at the moment, I'm running I have my laptop, which is the Framework 13, which I like. And apart from its USB-C ports, which keeps breaking. And then I've got a Minis Forum U6. What's that one there?
It's a 1X.
And then I've got the Minis Forum U690 Slim, which I think is all I need, and that sits on the back of the back of my screen. I don't have a television. I just have a screen, and it just clips on the back there, and that's it. And then my server is a B-Link with an N100 processor, and that's about it. And that runs Zimmer OS and does everything I need. Everything Zimmer OS is Casa OS, but with
right,
Debian
it shipped
built
with Zimmer
in.
board, but it was open, and so you can put it onto other things. Yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah, and that does everything. It just you can be up and running in 5 minutes if you want to have a server. I think everybody should have a server. It's incredible.
Are you familiar with like the SFF, the Elite Desk Mini, the Pro Desk,
the HP? Is that HP
the G3s? Well, the Think Center has the Micro. There's a couple other ones, but those small form factors are what makes up most of my servers.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I use a Dell. I've got a Dell Wise as well, the Wise 5070, which is quite nice because that's got a
proper
little
thin client.
Yeah, that's it's 8 gigabytes of RAM, so it's actually quite good with a decent. I just put a bigger hard drive in, and it's because it has the built-in memory, so you can install Zimmer OS on the built-in, and then just use the drive for your apps.
Right. Well, no, the Wises are interesting because those small ones that you're talking about were literally made to just access another computer off elsewhere. Yeah. And I love to see how those get repurposed and used for various home things. So now you did say you were running Zima OS, which is a fork of Casa OS. So what servers are you actually running?
Servers, well, that's it. That's all.
Okay. What server software are you running? Like, are you running an audio bookshelf? Are you running a Nextcloud?
Oh, I see, yeah. What have I got on here now? I've just done a whole big reset. So I've got audio bookshelf, yeah. I run Cirx NG, which is really good.
I run that too.
Woogle.
I don't run that.
Has come back from the dead, Woogle, so that's quite good. Because they had some issues with it. These are all front ends for Google, which you don't need to have all these wonderful other privacy search engines, because this one does most of it for you, and it's so simple. I have had Nextcloud on there, but I've stopped with Nextcloud. It just irritates me. And also I can just use the Mint Nextcloud now. And what else have I got going on? Feedbin. I've just installed that, so that's pretty good. Sterling PDF, another good one. So I'm just running basic. I'm nothing too fancy. I don't do any of the R's. I don't download that way. I just go to a particular website and just download anything I wanted, if I wanted to take on that. But I don't watch much television anyway. So
So you're not on anything like Jellyfin or Plex or anything like that?
I use Plex, yes. So when I do that, when I download something, I put it onto Plex, and then I can just watch it that way. But I bought a Lifetime a long time ago. I think Bill's dozing off there.
So between all their free stuff and then like Tubi and a couple of others that are out there, including like Roku channel, you can get basically whatever you want without having to deal with piracy or anything like that. So
yeah, I don't bother with it. I mean, I'm happy. I'm just happy in my little house. I do meditation.
Okay.
I do.
Now you said you had an audio bookshelf set up. Do you listen to a lot of audiobooks?
Not so many now. Okay. Not so many. I did at one time, but I've stopped that now.
Do you listen to them off-site or just when you're at home?
No, I sometimes listen off, but now I don't travel. Before, when I was traveling, I would take things with me, but now I don't. Now I don't really go very far, so I just listen to podcasts through Pocket Cast.
Well, Audio Bookshelf has a good podcast downloader too, and so if you want to download it to your local systems and then stream it from your local systems to your phone, which is a preference in some cases, just for security reasons. But yeah, anyways.
And I use Invidious. If I'm watching YouTube videos, I watch Invidious. I use Invidious, which is a front end for YouTube. Not because I don't mind paying for them, but I don't even mind watching the ads. I just don't like to get into a loop.
Do you have something like a WireGuard set up back to your house, or
no? I do use Cloudflare Tunnel.
Okay, Cloudflare Tunnel. Well, I was going to wonder about Netbird or anything like that next. So
I've tried Tailscale, but I'm not really. That's not really my
Tailscale. There's too much overhead.
Yeah. Limited the
bandwidth.
Yeah, it was a bit complicated for me to set up. It wanted me to use Moldav VPN, and I had my own VPN, and it was just a bit overkill. I also use what else do I have? Flat Notes. That's my notes of preference. I don't know if you tried Flat Notes. It's really very, very simple but fantastic note taking. You can self-host.
Okay, so it is self-hosted.
Yeah.
Is it just a basic note-taking tool, or
just a markdown note-taking?
Another markdown.
It's just
so I use Joplin.
Simple.
I use Joplin. Host your own.
Joplin uses a database, and this is Flat Notes is literally just markdown. You can use it you can just transfer those files straight over into Nextcloud Notes if you wanted to, or another one.
Okay. All right, then. Anybody else have any questions?
No, I think that's it, really.
Wasn't expecting a sort of interview, but
no. I just thought it was useful for us
to the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
No, not so much that. I just thought it would be nice to get to know you. That's all, because I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that these guys were very trendy when I started, and they wanted to know all about me, which was really great, and I really appreciate it. And Bill's right; maybe we've been a bit lax on that with some other newer presenters.
I kind of feel like we missed out with Charles, so we can do that the same for him right now if you really want to.
Maybe next time. This is kind of running along here.
Charles is a dark matter developer. He's radio silent.
Right. No, he works for the CIA, which is why he can never say anything.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
He's one of Bill's friends from when Bill was still doing the secret wet work stuff.
I'm so glad I got out of that. When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. All right, so that's it for the interview.
Before we jump to the check this out, there was some emails that we got that Bill and I had responded to, but I think I want to mention it. Joe, we have not forgotten about you. We will talk about you, but we're going to do it on the next show for the wandering stuff. After the wandering stuff, we'll talk to you about the Jellyfin and the software-defined radio. So we have not forgotten you. All right, now go on.
Moving on, check this out. And who's got this?
New and update flat packs. I have no idea whose that is. Sounds like I don't know who put that in.
Oh, that's more than mine. I just thought, I love flat packs because of I think that's the way to go, and I can say that now without getting any earache from Jim. So, but I don't use social media very much. I do I have another side life which I don't talk about, but and I use it for that. But it's. The big problem is sometimes you can only open up one profile, and there's now something called Nora, which is a great flat pack, and this one allows you to log in. So you can get basically it's a browser which has 3 columns, or you can have more columns, and you can have each one of your social media all in one line, which makes it quite handy. And you get it for your for your Android app as well, Android phone as well. So it's quite a nice little app that I thought I would just share. And I was going to give more, but time is of the essence, of course. But it's something to look out for. It came out about December. They just had a major update, and it's worth trying it if you do social media, because it sandboxes everything. So you can have like 3 different logins on 3 different Facebooks or 3 different Instagrams all in one browser.
I use Firefox container tabs for that. Does the same thing. All right, and then 2604, another view. Who's got that one?
So this is me. This is the video that I was kind of referencing earlier when I was talking about Ubuntu 2604. So there is a YouTube creator, Utux, who isn't an English speaker, so he uses an AI generated voice. But don't let that put you off. And he put out a video where he had some real, shall we say, forthright and antagonistic perspectives on 2604. I mean, he literally called it a catastrophe. I don't know if I agree with that, but I thought it was interesting to have that discussion, and it's already caused a bit of discussion in our Discord, so I linked to that in the check this out.
Right on. Links to that in the show notes. Moving on to housekeeping and announcements. Thank you for listening to this episode of mintCast. If you see something you think we should be talking about, tell us. Send us an email, mintcast@mintcast.org. Join us live on YouTube. Post at the mintcast subreddit. Chat with us on Discord and Telegram. Well, chat with them on Telegram. Next episode will be 2 p.m. U.S. Central Time on Sunday, April 26th, 2026. There's a link in the show notes to get that converted to your time zone. Next Saturday, we will host a roundtable live stream. Please come and join us using the Discord voice channel at 2 p.m. U.S. Central Time on Saturday, April 18th, 2026. And there's a link in the show notes to get that time converted to your time zone. Live stream information is at mintcast.org/livestream. Wrapping up, Joe, where can we get more of you?
We're going to have to make an app or something and call it Discord.
Discord.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you like the sound of my voice, I am on a couple other shows. I'm on the Linux Link Tech Show, which is at tllts.org. Linux Lugcast, linuxlugcast.com. You can send me an email directly, jb@mintcast.org, or you can buy me a coffee on Ko-fi, link in the show notes. Moss couldn't be here with us today. You can catch him on Full Circle Weekly News, Moss at BodhiLinux.com. He's on Mastodon at Zyvola at hostux.social, and occasionally he puts out a show on HPR. And he is on the Discord and is somewhat active on there. Bill?
Well, you can email me, bill@mintcast.org. I'm Bill_H on Discord, at WCHauser3 at fostodon.org on Mastodon. Also, check out the other podcasts I'm on, Linux OTC with Eric, Majid, and now Charlie. Majid?
Okay, so you can email me at drmajid@mintcast.org. I am Atypical Doctor on Discord, and I have my own podcast, the Atypical Doctor Podcast, as well as Linux OTC and Distro Helpers Digest. Eric can be reached by email on eric@mintcast.org. Charles?
Yes, I can be reached email charles@mintcast.org, and I'm Mr. PDX on Discord. Jim is not here. Had some technical issues this today, but he can be reached at jim@mintcast.org or GNU2 Linux on Discord. I'm sorry, the other one was his email. And Charlie?
You're muted, Charlie.
Your lips are moving, but nothing's coming out.
I was following the instructions and muting. You've got to be a good boy.
I guess I should have expanded upon that. And then when it is time for you to speak, unmute your...
See, you weren't clear. There was,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So I am now Foss Charlie on Discord, FOSS, free and open source Charlie. And now I have got the illustrious email address of charlie@mintcast.org. Wow. Very sexy.
It is.
I'm going to change it to chuck@mintcast.org.
Nice.
Oh, well, if that's everybody, moving on, before we leave, we want to make sure we acknowledge some of the people who make mintCast possible. I do the audio editing and hosting of all of the servers which run the website. I do the website maintenance, and I run the Nextcloud server on which we host all of our show notes and raw audio. Archive.org for hosting our audio files, Hopstar for our logo, Londoner for our time sinks and various other contributions, and last but not least, the Linux Mint development team for the fine distro we love to talk about. Thanks, Clem.
Thanks, Clem. Thanks, Clem.
And co. And wrap.
I've only got like 60 terabytes of storage out in my garage. Not that much.
Thanks, everybody in the live stream. We'll catch you next week.